As I continued work on the CBAS system, there were a few things I immediately noticed that I wanted to fix. The first being the context action disappearing, specifically with the paint tool, when the underlying terrain matched the terrain you were actively trying to paint. And this was a pretty easy fix. I just had to remove a single early return. So now the option will always be visible, but as you can see, it's still not using the text assigned in the class variable. This actually also ended up being very simple and very close to where the previous fix was. So now we have the action always visible, and it is displaying the correct text, which is great. But now the next issue arises. If I enable my mouse overlay, you'll see that if I hold the button, it doesn't continue the action. This originally stemmed from me setting the action to started instead of triggered, but if I set it to triggered instead, you'll see why this presents an issue. Yeah, not really what we're wanting. To allow held inputs alongside inputs we don't want to be held, but still use the same button, we have to use triggered but gate the input ourselves. So inside the Garden Tool class, I added a minimum execution variable to adjust how frequent it can be used, and then a helper function to return if the tool can be used or not, based on the last time it was used. And when we use the tool in the player pawn, we simply timestamp it. So now we can hold the button, and each tool is responsible for gating how often it can be used. And I'm still working on two things. The precision of where the digging and filling happens that I mentioned on Monday is still being worked on. And the other thing is, when I paint grass while I'm close to a hole, it will go over the water, which we clearly don't want. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.